I'm Mark Small. This is Civil Discourse Now. It's the first of a series of short podcasts about Constitution, our history, and the 2024 elections. This is prompted by several factors, not the least of which is President Biden just announced today he's not going to be a candidate for the 2024 elections. There was a show last week. I have a regular 2-minute spot on John Schmitz's mouthwash in which I addressed violence in the political campaigns and this election cycle, particularly since Trump and the far right has been fomenting a lot of that violence. Now, in that show, on John's show, one of the guests on the panel is Brandon Shane, who has a podcast called Beyond Formal. He's up in the region, which means near Chicago on Indiana side. And he said, well, I had Micah Beckwith on my show, and he didn't strike me as having somebody who had religion in his political campaign as part of what he would do. That's all that Beckwith has. Here's the problem. We have people who are blue, who are Democrats. We have people who are red, this iteration of the GOP. And we have a bunch of people in the middle called gray, some of whom are undecided right now. Not a lot, but some. But it was enabling misrepresentation by not saying, whoa. Beckwith says he talks to God, says this is a Christian country that's to be run for the benefit of Christians. That's what being a Christian nationalist is, and that's what he said. And he wants to be lieutenant governor of the state of Indiana. That kind of puts religion in. And that's one of the problems that I have with that approach to government, because our history is not what Beckwith says it is. Now, if somebody tells you don't read what they're writing and don't listen to them, because they're lying, they're not telling you the truth, listen only to me. Usually that's a gauge that they're not telling you the truth. Good examples are cigarette companies not telling anybody that mainstream smoke from cigarettes, they knew for like 20 or 30 years, their studies showed that it caused cancer and heart disease and stuff and emphysema, but they didn't let those out. Oh no, we don't know anything about it. The NRA doesn't want people to have any access to studies, peer-reviewed studies about guns as a health risk. Well, because it is, they are. So Beckwith saying that means he said, don't read university professors' works because they have a secular bias. Well, he never mentioned how that bias affects the outcome of their work. And I'm sorry, but he says he's a Christian nationalist. This country was founded on principles of religious freedom, that people couldn't make you be a religious belief. So I was raised in mid-North Indiana, and that was kind of a constant thing about what you had to worry was, well, is there going to be something going on religion here through the school? And that's something that Beckwith does. And if people don't call him on it, they'll go, well, I thought he was an okay guy. No, he's not. He wants to, well, all the worst things you can imagine on the far right, especially women's reproductive rights, taking money and giving more of it to religious schools, and basically our version of a madras, which would be an Islamic school. But that's why I'm doing this series on constitutional history and also 2024 elections. Beckwith says God talks to him. And God talked to him and said, I founded this Judeo-Christian republic. After I had said several times that there's no mention of Jesus Christ and it quotes God. But my point in these discussions, these podcasts, will be to trace how it was this country came about and why we have protections as we do for what we believe, especially when it comes to religion and philosophy of life, cosmology, if you would. Mark Small, Small Talk. Peace.